Well, today we're going to talk about how to walk a patient using a proper assistive device. We're going to start with a walker, and Matthew will be our model. So we're going to start probably when the patient is up sitting at the edge of the bed already. Okay, so Matthew, okay. Well, first you have to think about where you're planning to walk. So when you think about walking a patient, you have to kind of plan ahead of time and see where you want to get the patient to, where you have to make a clear path for the patient, so to speak. So and you have to have the proper equipment with you, like a gait belt. So you have to have a gait belt with you. And if the patient would need oxygen tank, you would have to have it ready before you even sit a patient up. And so in that way, you'll have all things ready beside you and not, after sitting a patient up, not leaving them sitting up alone by themselves. So for next, putting on a gait belt, you would want to make sure that the gait belt is secure. So right now I'm going to put a gait belt around Matthew, who is a patient, for example, who had surgery in his belly. So when you work with a patient who's got surgery in his belly, you would want to avoid putting pressure on the incision when you tighten a belt up. So we could either put the belt higher up above the incision, or if you can put it lower to where the incision, to where the belt doesn't touch the incision. So in this case, I'm going to put the belt really low. Okay. Then I'm going to ask Matthew to breathe deeply and pulling on that. That way they'll have that proper adjustment. And so I'm just gonna tuck my belt here, okay? And I'm gonna bring the walker closer, okay? And of course, before you even do this, you want to make sure that the patient is not confused, doesn't have difficulty breathing, or is not nauseated, and the patient really is prepared to do this, okay? So when I stand up Matthew, I'm going to give him an instruction to lean forward and push with your legs, okay? And you can put one hand on the walker, you can put one hand on the bed, okay? Lean forward and then stand up with your legs, okay? Once Matthew is standing already, I'm going to do a few tests just to make sure that his balance is okay and his endurance is enough that he can walk, okay? So I'm going to ask Matthew, can you try to march in place? Okay, as you do this, you want to get ready to prepare yourself to catch the patient, just in case he loses his balance. So one of my hands is on the belt, and one hand is on the upper shoulder like this, so I can control. Okay, so I can see Matthew is marching really well. I mean, he's not losing his balance, so okay, Matthew, are you ready to walk?
Yes.
Okay, so when you walk, you want to make sure that you're close to the walker. You don't want to push the walker too far ahead of you, or don't get too close to the bar here, okay? So when I walk with Matthew, I'm going to keep my elbows close to my body and hold on to the belt really good with my thumb opposed to my fingers, okay? You ready, Matthew?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a few short steps. Can you keep your elbows close to your body? Now let's make a turn here to the left. Keep yourself inside the walker, okay? And see how when I move my feet, I try to move it in tandem, like one leg at a time, and I keep myself towards his back. Okay, so just in case if he loses his balance, I'm ready to catch him. Okay. All right. So we're gonna turn now, and let's say, for example, Matthew is weak on his right side. I'm going to ask him to turn towards his good side, which is always the best way to do it. Okay, so go ahead, Matthew, and turn to your left side. safest way to do it. Here you go. Okay, and then you want to always look at the patient's face, make sure he's not turning pale and not getting short of breath. Okay. Let's turn this way. And then we're going to back up towards the bed. And then since you want the patient, when he goes back to bed, you want him to be in a good position. So I would ask Matthew to step sideways towards the head of the bed, keeping yourself inside the walker, and go ahead and sit down slowly, bending from your hips and your knees, and reach back with one of your hands. There you go. And that way, so when he lays down, he'll be in a good spot and you don't have to scoot him up too much. So now we're going to demonstrate how to walk a patient who, for example, had a knee surgery or any kind of knee or leg conditions that would prevent him or her from putting weight on that leg. So let's say Matthew here had a right knee total replacement, total knee replacement. And since you will be hurting on that leg, you would want to put most of your weight on your other leg when you stand up. Okay, so the way you want to do it is you want to instruct the patient to keep the right foot ahead of the left foot, okay, and then bring your left foot towards the back. That way when he stands up, all of his weight will be carried by that good leg. Okay, and then same thing, you want to have one hand on the walker and then one hand on the bed. Okay, as we stand up, you want to put your nose under your toes. There you go. Okay, and so now we'll be walking, and then I'm gonna give instruction to Matthew how to walk with the walker in the proper sequence. Okay, so the first is you want to push the walker forward just a little bit, and then bring your right foot forward. And then as you shift your weight towards that right leg, you want to push down on the walker. Okay? So go ahead and step forward and push down on the walker. And so when you do that, you're helping your leg with your arms. Okay? And so we're going to turn again to the left. And then step with your right leg. Again, pushing down on the walker. And then shift your weight. Now as you go ahead and back up a little bit more. Before you sit down, you want to give instruction also to the patient to keep that right leg ahead. That way, as you sit down, you won't be putting too much weight on it. Okay? So, always reach back with one of your hands, and then slowly lower yourself down. Very good.